Hawks in the closing minutes back to within a score. Some huge games.
From 28 points down to 7, the Huskers going down to the wire in Eugene. The Cornhuskers come back, coming up just short in Oregon as the Ducks spoil Mike Riley's return to the state. The Big Red facing a big deficit after 2 quarters, but Nebraska had the ball in the final minutes with a chance to tie. That's all they could ask for. Coach Riley with just 1 win at Autzen Stadium with Oregon State, trying to lead the Huskers to a win in front of a crowd of nearly 60,000. Early on, though, Oregon on the attack. Opening possession, Justin Herbert to Brendan Schooler, taking the Huskers to school. 32 yards on the scoring strike, 7-0 Ducks in a hurry. Then after a turnover, it's Herbert again. 3rd down again this time to Charles Nelson. Beats Joshua Kalu in coverage. 14-0 Oregon just 4 minutes in. Nebraska bounces back, though. Tanner Lee to DeMornay Pearsonell. Look at the jump ball. Goes to get it on the fade route. Senior making a play. 23-yard touchdown. Cuts the deficit to 7. Final play of the first quarter, though. Royce Freeman pushes the pile in the lead up to 21-7. 153 for Freeman on the night. Second quarter, Nebraska cutting into that deficit once again. Trey Bryant with a 5-yard touchdown run. Looking to push the pile here. Sophomore, 20 carries for 107 yards. Leaves the game in the second half, though, with a knee injury. Herbert continues to cut up the Huskers after that, though. Finds Johnny Johnson here for a 51-yard gain. 365 passing on the day for the freshman. Sets up another Ducks touchdown. Then after another 3-and-out by Nebraska, Oregon back to the air, this time again to Charles Nelson. Sets up a Connie Benoit touchdown run, and it's 35-14. Oregon starting to pull away. That is Tanner Lee with a big mistake in his own territory. Intercepted for the second time in the ball game. Forces it into coverage on the timing route. Just 19-41 on the day for Lee. It sets up Herbert once again. 17 yards to Dylan Mitchell to end the half. And Oregon goes into the locker room up 4 touchdowns, 42-14. Second half, though, much different story for Nebraska. Opening possession, third quarter. Huskers clicking on offense. Lead is Stanley Morgan for an 18-yard score. 103 receiving for the junior today. And it's 42-21. Then after Nebraska forces a 3-and-out, it's Lee and Morgan once again. This time 28 yards to Paydirt on the corner blitz. Read perfectly. Second touchdown of the day. 252 through the air for Lee. 42-28 Oregon after 3. So to the fourth quarter we go. The black shirts coming up clutch. Freeman on the carry. Antonio Reed forces the fumble. Chris Webber jumps on it. The Elkhorn native helping the Huskers take over at the 22 of the Ducks. Mikhail Wilbon then making it hurt. 2 yards to the end zone off right tackle. Second score in as many weeks for him. And all of a sudden Nebraska is within a touchdown. 3rd down for Oregon now. Huskers with 1 more timeout. The black shirts come up big. Tackle for loss here. The Big Red holding Oregon scoreless in the second half. Great turnaround. One final chance for Nebraska to tie things up now. Tanner Lee back to pass. A little rush, and his arm is hit on the throw. It ends up as another interception. 4th of the game. Nebraska's comeback coming up just short. 42-35. The final score. Let's take a look at this one by the numbers. 566 yards of offense for Oregon. The biggest one on the board, but just 157 of that coming after halftime. The Huskers brutal on 3rd down, but 2 of 2 on 4th down. Those 4 turnovers end up haunting the Big Red, even though a pair of them are a little bit fluky. KETV News Watch 7 Sports Director Andy Kennedy is on the field in Oregon with the postgame wrap-up.
Well, it's a tale of 2 halves here in Eugene, Oregon. The Huskers fall behind 42-14 at half, only to storm back and outscore the Ducks 21-0 in the second half. However, that first half hole, too big to climb out of. The Huskers lose here in Eugene, 42-35.
It's been a pretty common fact for the games that I've coached in that when you lose a turnover battle and you don't rush for as many yards as the other guy, you lose the game. That's kind of been where we've been for a long time, and we had a shot. As bad as it was, we had a shot.
The Huskers' first half, forgettable. They give up 42 points, giving up more than 400 yards of total offense.
And we didn't start well, obviously, and too many explosive plays in the first half. It was just a sequential mess, you know, early in a lot of areas.
I think the big thing was that we were just kind of beating ourselves, just little eye violations and just stuff like that. That was really killing us, and we just got to come out stronger in the first half, as far as the defensive standpoint.
And yet, in the end, the Huskers still had a chance to tie it with the ball. However, Tanner Lee threw his 4th interception of the day, sealing the Huskers' fate.
You know, I just didn't get a ball off in time. Just kind of an unfortunate situation. I really want to make a play there, and you know, we didn't get it done.
You know, it was just, we were just so up and down at times. We were great at times, and then we'd stall out, and then we'd go back and play well. We were just kind of like a roller coaster today.
I think the thing that's freshest on my mind is just squandering the opportunity at the end. I guess I'll just say it that way. That's real disappointing.
Even with the comeback coming up just short, the Huskers learned a lesson about themselves.
For us to be down like that and still be able to fight to come back and bring it within that close, you know, that definitely shows that even though we're young, we definitely got some fight in us, and, you know, our team definitely doesn't quit.
That's our takeaway, you know, it's to bottle that feeling up, what it felt like in the second half. You know, when, I mean, I'm sure everybody else counted us out of that game after the way we played in the first half, to put that in a bottle, remember that feeling, and let's build on it from here.
Game ball time. We're going to give it to Stanley Morgan Jr. Caught a career-high 7 passes to go with 2 key third-quarter touchdowns, getting the Huskers back in the game, but ultimately it was too little, too late as the Huskers fall by a touchdown here in Eugene.
All right, thanks, Andy. Time now to check out some other individual performances from today's game. There are big red zone game breakers, the difference makers in the contest. We start with running back Trey Bryant, the sophomore, carrying 20 times for 107 yards in the game, including a touchdown. Bryant, the first running back since Amir Abdullah in 2013 to post back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. But the Huskers' ground game stalled when he was injured on this carry in the 4th quarter. Our second game breaker is right tackle Matt Farniok, the redshirt freshman making his first career start in David Neville's stead, and he looked steady throughout the game. Helped the Huskers total 361 yards of offense, including a touchdown run to his side. Now let's tee up our extra point tonight. Andy's back at Autzen Stadium.
All right, let's bring in Big Red Zone insider Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. Great comeback, just short.
Yeah, you know, you look at this for Nebraska in a lot of different ways, the way it finished out. I think, if anything, though, Nebraska minimized the long-term damage that a game like this could have had. The way the first half went, if that would have carried over into the second half, Oregon hangs 77 or even more on the Huskers. The damage of that, I think, would have been hard to grasp, where I think Nebraska showed fight. They battled for Bob Diaco on defense to hold Oregon scoreless. And I think maybe long-term, this could go a long way now, Andy, for the rest of the season.
After the Huskers gave up more than 400 yards of offense in the first half, they give up just 157 in the second half, but still they come up just short here in Eugene. 42-35, your final.
All right, thanks, fellas. Time now for our big question in the Big Red Zone tonight. We want to know what concerns you the most about the Huskers after week 2. 4 options there. You can cast your vote at KETV.com. While you're online, you can check out more complete coverage from today's game, extended video and reaction, plus you can upload your fan favorite photos using ULocal. Much more to come tonight. The Cy-Hawk Trophy up for grabs in Ames. This one down to the wire across the border. Matt Lothrop working overtime with a fantastic finish. That's straight ahead. You're watching KETV News Watch 7 at 10.